Hi, and welcome back, everybody, to the second part of our Series 3 with Alex Roberts.
Our last episode was featured on a Kickstarter update for Star-Crossed, and so we wanted to say a quick thank you to Alex Roberts for putting that information out there. And if you found our podcast through that, welcome. This is part 2.
Yeah, we're really happy to have any new listeners here. And we know that you're starting right in the middle of a very wonderful series that we recorded. And remember, if you do like the series and the stuff that you're hearing, please go ahead and give us a review wherever you listen, because those reviews will help our show climb in the rankings and allow more people to enjoy the stuff that we're putting out. Plus, every single time we see a review, it makes us really happy.
We get a good warm fuzzy feeling in our hearts, and that's really what all of this is all about.
Exactly. Also, during this time, we like to cover our reviews, and we've got one review from Canada. This is our first Canadian review, and we are so thankful to Kyle Gould, who wrote a review titled RPG Goldmine. And he said, "This is such a great podcast. Well edited, gracious, and knowledgeable hosts with a sparkling setup that left me eager to hear everything they have to offer." It's such a nice review, Kyle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kyle. And if you enjoyed the mixtape that we put out last week, good news, we have 2 more mixes that we are releasing with this series to match the other sets of characters that we make, and we're really, really excited to share those with you as well.
Yeah, we worked really hard on those, and they are turning out to be phenomenal. We can't wait for you to listen to those. And if you did miss out on the one from last week, good news there as well. You can always find where to get the mixtapes in the show notes. And they're also on the completed character sheets on our site.
Just a quick reminder to everybody that Star-Crossed is still up on Kickstarter. They have fully funded already, but they are rapidly working towards some stretch goals. So if what you hear on our episodes is of interest to you, we strongly suggest you consider backing this really, really great project from a really, really great designer. And with all of that out of the way, now for the show.
Yeah, enjoy.
Last time on Character Creation Cast, Alex Roberts, our guest in this series, began walking Ryan and myself through creating magical school students for her brand new game, Star-Crossed, on Kickstarter now. We'll pick up right where we left off. Enjoy the show. 2 things about me.
I got one for you.
This is harder than I feel like it should be. No, not harder than it should be. It's just hard.
We could do it just kind of talking it through. Just toss out some ideas. So, for example, he's listed a physical feature. So maybe you'd want to do something like about his personality. Something about...
Yeah, I got to think about... personality one.
Yeah, just something like... something about his sense of humor, or maybe his complete lack of sense of humor.
So, can I ask a question about this?
Of course.
What you've seen in your playtesting? Mm-hmm. This is, it's sort of a weird situation where I am determining things about his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it feels a little bit weird to... I don't want to say I don't feel weird about giving up the agency of that part of it. That doesn't bother me, but it feels weird to take that over for somebody else.
Yeah.
To say here's things I'm telling you about yourself.
It seems like that's the perfect reason for a soft X card, I guess you could say, where it's not something offensive or anything, but something that you might not be comfortable playing. You could probably exit.
So remember that when we talk about the X card, it's not just an emergency button, right? It's not just a hatch, like an escape hatch. It's for anything. It doesn't mean I hate this and it's the worst thing ever.
Right.
It means I am less than 100% jazzed on this. So knowing that your co-player can just say, no thanks, I'm not into that. My hope is that will kind of open you up to tossing ideas out there, right? Because when you're playing a role-playing game, it's always collaborative to some extent. And when you offer ideas, those ideas are gifts in the sense that they're beautiful and it's so cool that you gave them. And also in the sense that the other person is not under any obligation to use them. They're not commands. They're just offerings. Maybe this would be cool. And that's true of everything that we're going to put together, right? When we were designing our world, you weren't like, hey, I'm deciding it's going to be wizard school. You were like, hey, here's an offering of something that might be interesting. Here's a dynamic that I think might be cool. And then the other player can say, yeah, I'm totally into that. Or they can say, let's do that, but with a little change. For example, I said, yeah, we can do Harry Potter. And you two were like, oh yeah, but let's not do exactly Harry Potter, right? So that's a good example of taking things, incorporating them, saying yes, but, or yes, and let's do this on top of that, or not exactly that, but something a little different. And that never stops. Throughout the whole game, you're doing that kind of negotiation. The other thing I want to say is that I think your concern about saying something about the other character comes from a really good place, because I know that sometimes that happens at the table in a really bad way, where you're kind of trying to be a certain way and other people are just steamrolling on top of you and being like, no, you should do this. That sucks butts. And
yeah, player agency is, I for me personally, I don't always find it to be a big deal. I like being able to say, sure, the GM can, whatever, try it out. We'll see what happens, But that takes a certain level of trust too. But I do know people that are really uncomfortable with that are like, I have this character that I want to play. This is, the story that I've imagined for them and, the kind of personality traits that I want them to embody.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do anything else with that because that's this is my thing that I've created.
Yeah. And I think it was Adam Koebel who said that, it can be really helpful to think of your character not as a set of truths that are established, but rather as a set of questions that you would love to answer through playing them, right? You're playing to find out the kind of person that they could be.
Yes.
So think about that too, that you're not saying this is the be all and end all of your character and this will be the end of them, but rather here's a cool starting point. I'd love to see how they change, right? So if you said, I think it's really cute that your character is a total grump and it's really, really hard to crack them and get them to laugh, that could be the place where they start. And then if over the course of the game, they kind of warm up to you and you have these really sweet moments where they kind of put down the facade a little and they stop being so grumpy and they laugh with you. They've changed it. They've taken what you've given them. They've incorporated it in a way that they really like. And then by the end of it, you have this really cool character. So
yeah. And I still I really like the idea of swapping sheets, especially because it is a 2-player game and you're playing a game about people that are attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of swapping it out and saying okay, here's things that I want my character to be attracted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, a different way of thinking about it than saying, here's things about your person, but rather here's things that my person wants you to have.
Yes. And in fact, the best way to think of it, let's go with this. And I haven't articulated it this way before, but thank you for making me think of this, is here are things that my character perceives about you, right? So my character sees you in this way. Whether or not your character thinks that about themselves or whether or not that is objectively true, my character sees you this way. And I think that, that's been my experience with real people in the real world, right? That when you're close to someone, you end up saying oh, I love this about you. And they're like, oh, really? You think that about me? I never thought of myself as like that before. Oh, gosh. That's actually kind of a cool thing about being close with someone, whether they're a friend or a lover or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. People see you in vastly different ways than you see yourself.
Yeah, and then we learn about each other. Like we learn about ourselves through relation with other people. That is totally one kind of path of self-knowledge. So let's think of it that way. I would say write down 2 things that your character sees in the other character. And then, if you two end up playing these 2 characters down the line, which now I kind of hope that you really do. But if you ever did, it might be interesting to see if your perceptions are borne out as true, or if they live up to those, or if they kind of defy those perceptions over the course of the game.
So Ryan, do you have...
I've got 1.
2? Okay. I have 2.
Oh, you're way ahead of me. I was too engrossed in the conversation.
Sorry. So do you want me to go ahead and say what they are?
Sure. Well, why don't we wait till Ryan's done? I mean, we can cut out the silence. Podcasting is magic.
Fix it in post.
Yes, that's right. Great. So are we ready to keep going?
Yes.
Ryan, why don't you tell us the 2 things about our lead that they don't realize are attractive?
All right. I put that she has glasses and the way she looks over them at times when deep in explanation of something.
Ooh, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was, I can always tell when you're around because you always smell amazing. And I think it's from your hair because it's got that like silky quality to it. It's always...
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So like I can always tell when you enter the room because that the first thing is get that olfactory sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny because real life Amelia has a thing about like how shampoo smells. I'm very particular about it.
Oh yeah, that's the only way I know how to evaluate shampoo. I have no concept of its other qualities.
Right? Like I don't know, like my hair is just I don't know. It's gonna do what it wants. Like,
yeah, exactly. I can't control that situation anyway. So
smells great. I love it. That's so good.
Okay, great. And so again, these are just lovely gifts, right? So when you're describing your character in a scene, you can totally be like, I mean, that smell one is great, right? Because you can be describing a detail about the room before you've even walked into it. And yeah, so Amelia, what did you come up with about the follow?
I said that while he's thinking, he always bites his lip.
Oh, cute.
Which is adorable. And then he always gets really, really excited when he learns something new and is like explaining it to people or telling other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
Gets like really worked up and excited about it.
That's very adorable. Really,
it's so cute. We've made really cute people. Like these people. I'm so excited. They're so sweet.
Okay, rad. So the next 2 questions are what has brought us together and what is keeping us apart. So we decided on these collaboratively, like what is happening in the world. It's important to write them down on your sheet so that you can kind of keep them in mind and articulate them. Mm-hmm. So try articulating them from your character's perspective.
So I know this is like really hard.
Really?
Because Amelia, the person, is like, no, I ship them.
This is a common trap. This happens. It can happen to anyone.
Mm-hmm. I just want everyone to be together all the time.
Especially if they're cute. I mean, my God.
Right?
So if I asked your character, why can't you be away from that person? I mean, the quick answer is we're in the same house.
Yep. And we are always put on, the most difficult tasks that they give students. Because we're the ones that are able to figure it out together, even though it seems like we butt heads all the time.
Yeah, I think people keep putting us together. Yeah.
Great. And so just quickly, sorry.
And we want to appease the professors because the favor of the professors is also a determination of who gets to head the house.
God, that is such a Harry Potter thing, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it's an accurate to life British boarding school thing. Great. So honestly, just quickly summarize that in those 2 questions. Does not have to be long or complex.
And those are only on the sheet for the follow, right?
They should be on both.
Okay.
Oh, I had to type mine in.
Or is there just one question that says, why can't we be together?
Why can't I act on my feelings?
Oh, okay, great. So you actually have a more recent version of the character sheet than I thought you had.
Okay.
I have an older one in front of me, which I thought you had. So yeah, that question has actually been amalgamated into why can't I act on my feelings?
Mm-hmm.
So just answer that in your own words, or in your character's own words,
Yes.
I mean.
And this could be a public, like the lead knows that I as a follow think this way, or it could be a internal private reason. I'm assuming.
So the next question is, why is that important to me?
Ah.
So all of this is transparent between the two players, but I would say there should be some level of uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe just like not admitting it to yourself kind of uncertainty
Yeah.
about knowing whether or not the other character feels the same way about you that you do about them.
Okay.
So whether you're aware of their feelings, whether you're aware of your own feelings,
Mm-hmm.
You probably won't be, depending on the situation.
Okay. Because I was thinking, like, even though we're vying for the top spot,
Mhm.
I still see her as superior to me inwardly, but outwardly, I'm going to continuously try to one-up her.
Hmm. Okay, so that's beautiful. So I would say under why can't I act on my feelings, you can put that external reason,
Mhm.
right? Of like we're in competition with each other. And I would put under why is that important to me? Like what is my kind of personal connection to that? You can write that second thing, because that's kind of a compelling sort of layer beneath the obvious reason.
Right.
I really like that. Amelia, do you have answers to our last two questions?
Yes. So, for why can't I act on my feelings, I said, I don't want anything to get in the way of the work that I'm doing.
Great. Perfect. And why is that so important to you?
Because I worry that a relationship would not last all that long, even if something did happen.
Yeah.
Whereas my education is forever.
This sounds like a very Amelia answer. Am I picking up on something that feels kind of real?
I don't want to say that like I play characters that are me, but
But we all do. Like to a certain extent, we all do.
well, yeah, you play what you know. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, to a degree, there's always, even if you say like, this is totally the opposite of me, you're saying, you know, you're still making a judgment based on.
Exactly. Yeah,
Who
you're still
you
saying
are.
something about yourself.
Mhm.
And when you play a caring character, you're playing the caring aspect of yourself. When you play a ruthless character, you're playing the ruthless aspect of yourself. So that's what that actually last question is designed to do, is to really solidify that bond between character and player, right? There's always a piece of yourself in that last question, and it's very much designed to elicit that. So when you answer that last question, you now have a character.
That's
So
awesome.
this is the point at which you would start playing, because you now know who you are and where you are.
Oh, I wish we could play.
That's cool. I mean, like, that's like 5 questions, and we have made fully fleshed out people.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I really like this process. It's simple to get into and easy to understand, and I really like that you can create an actual whole personality with just these few little concepts.
Thank you. I feel like we have the seeds of really interesting, really sweet characters and a really interesting relationship. So thank you for bringing yourself to this process.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Ugh. You want to do it again?
Yes.
So do you want to do it? I don't know if we want to run through it 2 more times or just 1 more. I mean, there's obviously less to explain if we run through it again.
Yeah, I think if you're fine with this, Alex, if we just run through 2 more scenarios with the different pairings.
Yeah, totally.
Because I really would like to show off like how different things can be.
Totally. Why don't we start with that thing that Ryan and I were talking about? We'll do a magical girl one super quick.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, do it.
Awesome.
I don't know, Ryan, if you want to like, do you have another sheet set up? If you want to link that in the chat, and then I can watch you and Alex fill it in while you're answering your questions about each other.
I have to get a shareable link.
And I'll be here for flavor commentary.
I have to give it edit access.
Here's a question while Ryan is doing this. Have you ever tried to play it with more than 2 people?
So just
Because there's, you know, I thought this through like while we were doing this. I was like, okay, so clearly like you could be a man, you could be a woman, you could be non-binary, whatever. Like that's clearly not laid out. does seem like it's set up for two people, and some relationships are more than two people. I don't know if you've tried that or if that's just like not the kind of story you're trying to capture, but so people can if they want.
So there's two things that I would love to see. One thing is like that sort of different sets of scenes, right? That we talked about earlier. But honestly, the hack that I personally is like my white whale for this game is writing the 3-player rules, because it's got to be possible.
It has to be.
It would just be much, much harder, right?
You might need less scenes, maybe?
Well, I mean, also just in the dynamic and how it would be set up and how the characters
that's true, yeah.
Right? Like, how do you... Is there... Anyway, so I
think that's... But now thinking about it, I'm like, well, in those kinds of relationships, it's not like you all just, like, met as 3 random people. Like, I think a lot of times it is, like, these people met first and, like, they're already friends or they're already paired off, and then we add another person. It's not usually, like, 3 random strangers meet and then...
Yeah, and the sort of cancel Elrond situation. Although I love that concept.
I would love to be in the room when something like that happens. Like, hey, all 3 of us get along really great. Like, let's see what happens. And
it actually does happen, which is really rad. So,
like, that's a lot of chemistry to get right all at the same time.
I think it would be so cool and so interesting. And I think, like, maybe you could have, instead of lead and follow, you would have like couple and third, or maybe you would have to have like 3 separate playbooks, get rid of lead and follow and introduce a different dynamic. Like, there's so many different ways that you could do it. And that's what I really, really want to see happen. And I truly have thought it through and then been like, I cannot do this. I need to focus on just making this game and just try to think about the fact that, like, even in a relationship that involves lots and lots and lots of people, I think that's always built up of sets of people, right? Like a relationship. Smaller exactly. Like my relationship with you and my relationship with you, your relationship with them. Like a triad relationship is also 3 relationships. So I try to remember that, and also think about like other ways that that poly experiences could be incorporated, right? So maybe when we get into that, like, why can't I act on my feelings? Maybe one of the reasons could be like, my partner and I are not open right now. We have been in the past, and maybe we will be in the future, but for various reasons, our relationship is not there right now. So, this poly stuff is incorporated, but it's different. And this might take up a bit of time, but can I tell you kind of a cool story that's from early playtesting?
Please do.
I asked the question.
She got me going. So
I'm sorry. I was thinking about it. I was like, I want to know. Because I think that, like, it's one of those, I think probably, like, you've spent a lot of time looking at the rules too, that, like, you almost need somebody who's, like, a little bit removed from them to be able to say, like, oh, here's the one thing that you can kind of tweak to.
Oh, yeah. I think when someone figures out how to really do that 3-person hack up right, it's going to be something brilliant that will seem obvious. And I'll be like, oh my God, of course, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And I will shake that person's hand. One of the first playtests that I did, one of the players decided, okay, the reason we can't be together is because I have a partner back home. Now, in real life, this person was poly, and like it's a really big part of their identity, and it's super important to them, personally and politically and everything. So they were thinking like, okay, so when we got to that, why is that important to me question, that was when they started to struggle with it. And they were like, well, why would that be so important to me? And we'd already kind of established that their character was poly, but had decided to be monogamous in this particular relationship. And their partner was new to that way of doing relationships. So they really, really had to think about it and be like, why would it be important to me? Like, how do I connect with that reason? And then they were just like, well, because I gave them my word, because I promised them I wouldn't. And whatever reason I did that.
It's important to me because it's important to them.
Well, they're like, I said I would do this, and I will do it. Like, my integrity is more important than anything about what I, like that is at the top of my set of beliefs about relationships, is that you should be honest and do what you say you're going to do. And this was a situation where the two characters were like on this Mars outpost that there were no other people there. It was all automated, and their partners were back. Like their partner was back on Earth, and they couldn't communicate with them. So it was just like I left saying I would not do this, and regardless of what I think could be or should be or whatever, I gave my word. So it was just this really cool moment of seeing that shift when they really thought about it. So anyway, thank you for asking that, because that's something I really have been thinking of. And if someone listening is like, oh, I can think of a way to do that, get at me. Get all the way at me, please.
Yeah, because I want to try that game out too.
Same. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do this magical girls thing. I am in the dock.
Please.
I'm excited for this.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Ryan, you were just the follow. Do you want to be the lead?
I can be, yes.
Okay, great. So you're the lead.
Yes.
I will be follow.
So I'm just gonna flip, because then I will ask the questions here just to.
Oh, yeah. Do it up. Okay, cool.
So what brought your characters together?
So, do we want to be on the same magical team, or do we want one of us to be a villain, or?
I was thinking like a magical girl duo.
Cool.
Like we're the only two that were, basically chosen by destiny, I guess you could say. And that's basically how we got brought together.
Oh, cool. So like, I like the idea that we weren't even, it's not like we were best friends who got transformed. Right. Or like found our destiny, but rather we were two people who didn't even know each other. Yeah. And then our magical animal companion brings us together. Yes. And we
each had our own magical animal companion, and both of them brought us to each other.
They're friends with each other.
They conspired.
So like you two are destined to save the world from this threat, and you're going to have to do it because that's what you were born for.
Cool. Okay, so I love that. So I think what has brought us together is, our shared destiny to be the magical girl team.
All right.
That's so cool.
I love it. So what's keeping you apart then?
I have an idea for this one.
Okay, go for it.
Like I said, I've thought about this a little bit.
I spend a lot of time thinking about magical girls, just kind of in my spare time in my life.
Yeah. Like you do.
Okay, so I am thinking that the follow in this scenario is actually the quote-unquote leader of the team. And you are destined to be betrothed to this prince that's out there, that you have to unite the kingdom together in order to spread love through the world, in order to fight the darkness.
Right. Okay, so we have a miracle romance situation on our hands. The miracle romance, siren is firing in the background.
Is that part of your shared destiny?
Yeah.
I think the shared destiny is I'm supposed to protect her. And get her.
That's why you're together all the time.
And get her to the prince eventually, whenever we can find him, in order to, start this new utopia in the world after we defeat the eternal darkness that's coming to consume it.
Right. Okay, so we have maybe there's a tuxedo mask style figure who kind of appears. And then it's super obvious to the audience that he's definitely going to be the prince. But we, as characters, don't realize it, even though they have the same hair. Right. God, Sailor Moon. So
I'm learning so much right now.
So, we have a tuxedo mask style character. There's a miracle romance. I am destined to be a part of this very important relationship. But unfortunately, you and I really feel very strongly about each other in ways that we don't want to admit to ourselves, or maybe we don't even understand yet. Or we don't have words for. I'm getting kind of a Xena and Gabrielle thing.
Oh,
actually,
yeah, definitely.
Which is very, very good. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so under who am I? Oh, sorry. Can we start answering the questions? Because I feel like we have.
Yeah, no, go for it. So yeah, who are you?
Can I just write Sailor Xena?
Oh, yes.
I love it.
And I am Sailor Gabrielle.
That's so rad.
I love it.
That makes me super happy.
Amelia, guide us through the rest.
All right. So then, what do you guys think is your most attractive feature? What do you like about yourself? Yourself.
I have the most amazing set of pipes. Like my sailor suit is like sleeveless. And like I just have like those incredible like Michelle Obama arms. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love it.
Those Wonder Woman arms.
All right. And I'm going to say my singing voice.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
So like on downtimes, I'll generally sing. Like if we're out and about, quote unquote, in between trying to fight the darkness, I will sing at camp or whatever.
Oh.
Okay, and then this is the part that I really like. After doing it once, I'm all about this. So you get to swap. What are two things about me I don't realize are attractive?
Okay, cool. Okay, I have mine.
Almost there.
Take your time.
Okay, I got him.
Okay, swap.
Okay, so who do we want to start with? Who wants to go first?
Can I go?
Yeah, please.
Do it.
So apparently the two things about me that I don't realize are attractive are my compassion for going out of my way to protect innocence in our battle against the darkness. Aw. And the second one is the way that your hair moves in battle. And I think it's fair to assume that I have this beautiful raven black hair that it goes to like about my waist.
Oh, yeah.
And it also probably smells amazing, and you probably use the same shampoo.
Rad.
Awesome. All right. And for me, my naivete. I assume the best in everyone. And my unwavering devotion to making the world a better place. Nice. I
Oh,
love it.
Yay.
you guys, that's so sweet. All right. So, why can't you act on your feelings?
Let's see.
We can't get in the way of Sailor Xena's destiny.
Yeah, my destiny is to unite the world in peace, and I really believe that the way to do that is through the miracle romance. And in terms of why is that so important to me?
Is it possibly because of like the greater implications of that like
Yeah, I think it's
you view the world as more important than your own?
Yeah, I think you're getting at it. It's really hard for me because like, wow, I really just want these two to love each other and not care about, especially if there's some man involved.
I just want
like,
to ship
step
this.
aside.
Why?
What if we had a third companion at one point and we lost them because we forced against our destiny?
Whoa.
So good.
Whoa, that adds a
Ryan, you are
huge
so
amount
good
of
at this.
darkness. That's super dark. I'll allow it. I've got it.
Yes.
Now I can totally answer this question. So Sailor Xena, I truly believe that if I give in to my feelings, I am actually endangering Sailor Gabrielle.
Oh.
Like, you know, like the really bad stuff is going to happen in the world, and possibly like to her directly, immediately.
Like this is for your own good.
Yeah, exactly. So like, just because I love you doesn't mean that I should act on my feelings. Like that would just be so selfish of me to get what I want when it could put you in danger, especially because I'm sure that she doesn't feel the way about me that I feel about her. Right.
Oh, guys, this hurts my heart.
Oh, the tragedy. Oh, this is great.
I love those moments of like, oh man, this is so sad. I love it so much.
So, wow. Yeah. See, now that we know the system, that's it. We're good. We could play right now, you and I, Ryan.
Oh, yes, definitely. Oh, I love this scenario so much.
It's so good.
Like sitting here crossing my fingers all day. I hope she's into magical girls in some way, shape, or form.
It's beautiful. It's perfect.
You might as well have hoped that my name was Alex Roberts. do we have time for one more? Do Amelia and I get
think
to make
so.
a pairing?
I mean, I think
Yes,
that only
please.
took like 10 minutes.
Okay,
so.
super. Let's do it.
All right.
So, I've already forgotten if you were the lead or the follow before.
So I was the lead last time.
Okay, do you want to be the lead again, or do you want to switch?
I would like to try being the follow.
Great. So I'll be the lead.
It's not super totally different in the creation part, but yeah, it's fine.
When we think about our dynamic, we can keep that in mind.
Right.
So let's see. What do we want to do? What are some reasons? I mean, setting aside genre, right? I mean, what are just some reasons why two people might be together but not together? One of my favorite playtests was two cool, radical, politically active nuns in the 70s.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So that's one very good piece. There is one very special playtest that I love very much. A friend of mine played this with his wife, and they played out this romance that was like Ernie, who's a bus driver, and this lady at his church, and she had a big crush on him, but the two of them were married, and it was really important. They also loved, they really loved their spouses and really wanted to, just be a part of that and not screw that up. And the fact that they had these little crushes, they didn't want it to get in the way of their perfectly happy and healthy marriages. But, they would see each other at church, and they, she would ride the bus every day and he would be there, and they just had these really, really sweet moments. And what genre is that? I don't know. It's sweet, awesome romance. That's all.
Yeah, it's like romance novel, I don't know, beach read.
Yes, exactly. Wholesome beach read for Christian moms.
Yes, that's a good genre. I'm trying to think, what is something
but we could also just, go to space and be aliens, so it's totally cool.
Yeah, I want something that's, different from the other two that we've done. Because, my instinct is always to just, be competitive and just, why can't we be together? Because we hate each other. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, the old Pride and Prejudice, that's a classic for a reason.
It is a good one.
We could be rival spies, like a CIA and KGB agent during the Cold War. I like spies. That's a sexy
I like spies
one.
too. Yeah, let's be sexy spies.
Okay, let's be sexy spies. Do you want to be CIA or KGB?
Oh, I'll be KGB.
Okay, cool. I'll be CIA. I'm Canadian, so technically it would be CSIS, but there's nothing sexy about that.
That's all
I
right.
was MI6 too.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's do MI6.
I see, but right? Yeah, I was then they're not rivals, but technically, I mean, really, in intelligence, you kind of are.
It's all very complex, really.
You want to be geopolitical nonsense.
Okay, cool. I'll be MI6. And can we say it's can we say it's during the Cold War, not now times, but it could be
yes.
Yeah, cool. So I'm just going to put MI6 under mine. And if we come up with agent names during play, we can do that.
All right. I will put CIA.
Or, sorry, I thought you were going to be KGB.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, because I'm just going to say, if you're not claiming KGB, I'll claim it.
That's fine. I mean, would you rather be KGB?
No. It's all yours. Okay. You said it first.
All right. It's fine. It was a 50-50 chance. All right. So I will be KGB.
Okay, perfect.
And then we have to decide
our most attractive feature.
I'm going to say that my most attractive feature is that I'm cool under pressure, like a cucumber.
I'm going to say that my most attractive feature is my wry smile.
Nice.
This sort of little crooked smile. It's mostly a little off to the right.
Yeah, I would say that this next question is my favorite part. Easily.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting not knowing what they're going to put about you and then getting, like you said, that gift back.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's, I like to talk about it's such a transparent design, but this little surprise, this little tiny surprise, it is awfully fun, isn't it?
And it just can inform so much that,
Well,
I mean, or not very much if you end up not wanting it to, but it can, it just sort of changes how you look at this person.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have mine. But take your time.
I'm trying to think of the word that I want here. Okay. Got my 2.
Okay, let's swap. You read first.
Okay. You want me to read mine first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So mine says, you seem to know everything about everything. It's intimidating in a totally hot way. And your sultry voice. I bet you could go undercover as a jazz singer. Ooh, those are really good. I love it so much. This is so good.
2 things about me that I don't realize are attractive. They're making me blush because they're so cute. So no matter where I'm assigned, I always make sure to bring some tea with me. That is something my character would never think attractive about themselves. I bet they're kind of embarrassed about it, and it's great.
I just imagine it being like 2:00 and you're like in the middle of doing something and it's like, hold on, we have to take a second.
Do you think that water is hot or?
You know what? Like you're in the middle of the desert, like we'll work with it. We don't have time. This bomb is going to explode. We don't have time for your break.
And my dry sense of humor. I love that. These are very, very good gifts that you've given me. I can totally see incorporating these during play.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
So let's see. Why can't I act on my feelings?
I mean, I feel like the easy answer is like, it's the Cold War. I mean, like, I don't want to be tried for treason.
Yeah, ideally that would not happen. I phrased it on my sheet as, I am loyal to the mission and to Queen and country. So yeah, that's the obvious external reason. But why is that important to you? It's always good to spend some time thinking about this one. This one I find can take the longest, and it can be very rewarding when people have really thought it through.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like at first glance, it feels like the answers to those questions should be the same. That like, why can't I act on that? Well, because, and it's important to me for the same reason that, like, I don't want to be found guilty of treason, or in your case, like, I am loyal to my country, and that's important. But I don't know, I feel like really, like, what your background motivations are is, like, really telling about who you are as a person.
Yeah, and I think under almost every conviction, there's something deeper. Like, there's some kind of need. Like, now I'm thinking your character, like, they do a really dangerous job. They could die anytime.
Yeah.
But there's some reason, like maybe there's something about that kind of betrayal, or either someone at home like that they don't want to bring shame to, or that there's something about.
I think that, like, in my case, the Soviet Union is not necessarily known for their strong judicial process. So, like, if for some reason we were caught, it would be horrible for you. Like, they would not be kind about that. Like, you'd like,
oh,
I might be kicked out of the KGB, but like, you are going to end up in Siberia.
Yeah. Oh, can we say that like you people who have been disappeared or have been like tortured or whatever, and so you really have like this really strong sense of like the things that could happen to me that you don't want to happen.
Yes.
Ooh, that's really good. That really gives you a lot of depth.
I like it.
And you're very, very much like this kind of confident, like cool, sexy spy. But I love that this gives you like this little, this really like caring, kind of sweet compassion,
like just like this, and
everything.
Like that little bit of fear, like that little bit of a flaw.
It gives you some uncertainty, right? In a very, very like confident character. I love that. That's great. Why is it so important to me? I think.
I mean, do you just honestly believe that like you're on the right side of things?
Yeah, maybe there's like. So I think my surface thing is like loyalty, right? I'm loyal to Her Majesty. I'm on Her Majesty's service, right? But there's maybe under that is like maybe like my identity as a spy is like all I have. Like if you live this kind of life, you can't really have like a family and like normal hobbies.
You don't have those things to like tie you back to anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And so like maybe I could have this really cool, like awesome, dangerous hookup with you, but I think it would like remind me, like maybe there's this loneliness to my character.
Mm-hmm.
And
you would risk everything that you do have.
Yeah, exactly. I think my identity, my whole identity is in being a competent, loyal spy. And that's where I get all of my like external validation. And I wouldn't want to compromise that. Like if anyone in the service knew that I had a relationship like that, it would really compromise my career. And I've given everything to the service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be too big of a loss for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so sad.
Wow. Cool. An undercurrent of tragedy.
Hey man, the question is why can't they? Like, of course it's going to be like a little unsatisfying. Oh, that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm really happy. You guys really, really, really brought it. Both of you. Yay. Yes. Good.
Yeah, I mean, and I keep saying every time we've recorded an episode of this of like, oh my God, why did we make a show only about the character? Like, and now we can't play them. Like, why would we do this?
Well, I love
like
that
pure torture to be like, oh, now I have all these cool character concepts and then like they're just left hanging and we don't know how their story ends.
I think you're going to have to get really into like fan fiction.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to have to like write some fan fiction. We're going to have to do some like bonus episodes. Like, it's going to be, we have some work to do.
That's awesome.
Oh, my.
All right. Let me go back to my episode outline here. Because I think I cut out because normally we talk about like, how did these people end up in a party together? And like, that really doesn't apply to this
I
game.
think that's quite clear.
Yeah.
Like, I cut that out. So, like, I think that from this point, we just wrap it up.
Yeah, we can just wrap it up.
Which feels like we're just leaving all of this tension just hanging there. Like,
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alex, for part 1 of our Star-Crossed character creation episode. Do you want to remind the listeners who you are and let them know where they can find you and this amazing game?
I am Alex Roberts, and you can find pretty much everything I do at helloalexroberts.com. That's where I just kind of post stuff that I am up to. If you're a Twitter person, I'm on Twitter a lot. You can find me at Muscular Pikachu. So totally tweet at me there, and we can chat. If you would like to find the game, by the time this episode airs, it will be on Kickstarter. So just go to Kickstarter and search for Star-Crossed and take a look. See this beautiful video we put together. Look at some beautiful art by comics artist Jess Fink. And maybe right? Thank you. Yes.
Ooh,
yes. I know, right? And consider backing the project. You can get the PDF at a pretty low level, or you can back at a higher level and get the full, big, beautiful game. And I would consider it very kind and sweet. Oh my gosh, I get so blushy when I think about people supporting me in that way.
I'm so excited that Jess Fink is doing that. Like, that's like the perfect art style for this game too. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'm really excited. You guys can't see me like squealing for joy.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely worthwhile to check it out, and we will have the link for that in our show notes to make it a lot easier for you.
And I'm sure we'll be tweeting about it endlessly too.
Most definitely, yes.
I'm so excited about this. Because I've been watching, like, not to like creep or anything, but I've been watching the process as you've been talking about it on Twitter and everything. And like sort of watching your moments of like, hey, I figured this thing out. And it's so cool to see it like finally done and like to see what it looks like. And I can't wait to see it once you have it on Kickstarter to like what the art looks like and all that kind of stuff too.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. So please join us next time when we dive into our discussion episode. Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter at CreationCast or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia and Ryan, can be found on Twitter at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permissions from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero, remixed by Steve Combs, and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used in today's guest can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, extra outtakes, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.